Let's jump into QuickSight embedding types. Before that, my name is Srikant Bhaithi. I'm a principal solutions architect with Amazon QuickSight. I've been with QuickSight for a little over 3 years. Outside of QuickSight, I have 15 plus years of experience working in IT industry as a developer, principal developer, engineer. You can think of any hat as part of SDLC. I have worn that hat at some point. Happy to be here to talk to you all about QuickSight and its embedding types. With that, let me start sharing my screen. So for today's discussion on embedding types, we have three different things that we will discuss. Why use embedded analytics? Second thing we would see is why use Amazon QuickSight for your embedded analytics, and then we will go deep dive into embedded types. I'll be mostly showcasing a demo on embedding types and discuss their why each of these different types exist and applicability of each of these types. We have like variety of embedding types that QuickSight supports, and we want to make sure that we understand why each of these exist and how we can use each of these, right? Next, so before that, let's look at why use embedded analytics, right? Every company, every customer we talk to, interact with, have like requirements about accelerating their business growth. There are various ways you can accelerate your business growth. One is product differentiation, in the form of like adding on analytics based on data driven insights that can be generated on the data. You want to have that differentiation as part of your product. Second thing is data driven user experiences, where you want to have users completely see that data driven experience within the applications, business applications, where you want to embed these analytics into. Finally, third thing is new monetization opportunities. This is our mainly when we see ISV, which is independent software vendor kind of use cases, software as a service kind of use cases, where our customers are taking and embedding analytics into their business applications, so that the users, their end users, their customers do not have to go leave the application to find those meaningful insights, and at the same time they have like a lot of data generated as part of the applications itself, which they want to monetize on. That is where you can generate new monetization opportunities, right? Next, how can you get that? So QuickSight enables our customers to reduce technical complexity by reducing the time to market, which means we make it very easy for our customers to be able to take that, create those dashboards and embed them into business applications where they are. And second thing is reducing ongoing expenditure. What do we mean there is the maintenance of these dashboards, the maintenance of this embedded analytics is reduced with ongoing with your ongoing changes. It's just making changes one place and then replicating that into your application automatically. And then at the same time, we do not want to compromise on deep analytical capabilities in the form of like machine learning capabilities, or in the form of natural language querying. All of those deep analytical capabilities along with simplicity and ease of use is what QuickSight focuses on, and that is how QuickSight reduces technical complexity for business users when these embedded analytics are embedded into your business applications, right? So now that we understand that embedded analytics is required for accelerating business growth, to create that product differentiation and monetization opportunities, let's look at furthermore why Amazon QuickSight for embedded analytics. We saw like, okay, by reducing time to market, all of these is great, but then if we double click into each of those, when we look at operational excellence here, right? Mainly when it comes to our independent software vendors and like enterprise customers, we see like there is like multi-tenancy requirements, and QuickSight offers multi-tenancy out of the box, which can be used to operate at a larger scale, right? Next, API support to automate processes, where we have literally every single action can be automated through APIs. There is no hardware or software upgrades, which means you're operationally like up to date with the software. The second thing is security. So security, when it comes to security, and why we are showing these five pillars, these are five main pillars which are part of your well architected framework, which AWS has, right? There are six pillars. I don't have the sixth pillar, which is sustainability here, because sustainability, like anything else across AWS, we have a larger goal for it, and QuickSight is obviously part of that goal as well, and we are making those improvements. But these five are mainly impacting our customers right off the bat as part of their applications, where we talk about operational excellence, security, reliability, performance, and cost. And now second pillar, which is security, where you can see like we have integration with third party identity provider. We have server side authorization, which you can perform encryption both at rest and in transit with QuickSight. You can apply row level and column level security. You can restrict domains to embed. So we have a bunch of security features to make sure that your data is completely secured. For reliability, QuickSight is out of the box, has out of box support for multi-AZ for both your data and UI. And when it comes to performance, QuickSight has its own database engine, which is Spice, which stands for super fast parallel in-memory calculation engine. It gives you like sub-millisecond responses on your analytical queries. It's not just built for storage; it's also built for that performance that is scalable from tens of users to thousands of users to millions of users. Uh, on top of that, for performance, we use like WebSocket protocol for embedding, which means like your connectivity is done once, and then you are as long as your connection is active, you do not have to make those connections over and over again. Finally, when it comes to cost, you're using for a very minimal cost, where we have different types of pricing. Capacity pricing enables you to just use and pay for sessions that you are using, and we have like various pricing strategies that can suit for your business needs and different use cases. So overall, in a nutshell, QuickSight gives you that well architected framework. When you look at well architected framework for any application that you want to do embedded analytics on, QuickSight gives you out of the box all these features that are available for you, and hence QuickSight, you can use QuickSight for embedded analytics. Next, QuickSight supports various embedding experiences as well. That is second reason. One is well-architected framework. Second is embedding experiences. What are these various embedding experiences? First, QuickSight supports embedding of these interactive dashboards into your applications, which is like, okay, you as your end users, you want to be able to take those dashboards, interact with dashboards, access those insights right from your application, right? Second, QuickSight enables your users to do self-service authoring right from within your application, where your users do not have to log into QuickSight console. They can directly go into their application, where you can embed this self-service authoring experience, where your author users can directly create those beautiful dashboards, create that interactivity on the dashboards right from your business application. Third thing is natural language querying. QuickSight supports natural language querying in the form of queue for QuickSight, where your end users, you can embed that queue power into your applications, where your end users can directly ask questions off of your data in natural language querying, natural language way, in plain English, and get those responses instantaneously. Where Q does three things. Amazingly beautiful is Q understands the intent of the question from your user. It maps it back to the data and then generates the response for the question. And alongside, it also gives you that interpretation and continuous feedback loop right from within your embedded application, where you can say, okay, hey, this was not quite right, this looks good, and provide that feedback to the topic creators, right? So that whole feedback mechanism is also embeddable in the form of that q-bar embedding. Finally, QuickSight also supports visual embedding, which means you do not have to take you do not have to take like full dashboard and embed it. You can pick and choose visuals from various dashboards within your from within your QuickSight dashboards, and be able to embed them as part of your high traffic pages, etc. A classic example would be is like if you are a banking or a financial customer, you want to show your stock ticker continuously on your landing page, that visual can just be taken in and embedded on your just on the onto landing page, right? So there are various examples that we can use for uh, visual embedding, but then that is one of the use cases. Like, so these are various experiences that QuickSight supports out of the box when you want to embed dashboards or overall these various experiences into your business applications, right? Next, let's look at embedding types. For that, let me bring up a demo here. All right, so QuickSight supports various embedding types. In this case, if you look at embedding types, there is no code embedding and code-based embedding. As the name itself suggests, when we say no code embedding, we are talking about without writing any code, you want to you will be able to take these experiences and embed them into your applications, right? And then there is code-based embedding. So first question that every time I get into calls I get is like, hey, when do I use no code embedding versus when do I use code-based embedding? So no code embedding is used when you do not have like customizations. You do not want to pass dynamic parameters. You do not want to be able to change your theme dynamically. You do not want any other customizations. You want to just take the dashboard, take the visual and embed that into your application, right? Again, console based embedding that we were talking about, self-service authoring, that cannot be done with no code embedding because you're taking the whole console and embedding it into your application. So when you are looking at dashboard embedding, visual embedding, those are the things that you can take and embed them into your applications without writing any code. So obviously you might be thinking like, my application has code. So what do you mean by without writing any code? Here in this case, what you can do is I can show you a demo. So there are various types. Where is the applicability of these type of embedding, right? So you have public facing applications, public embedding. When we were going through like COVID, a lot of companies and a lot of health systems were trying to put the metrics out there on what is going on with COVID. That is one of the use case. The other use case is like, if you want to have accident data within your city be published and be available, make it available publicly. That is another use case. There are multiple use cases for public embedding where you want to enable everyone in the on the internet be able to access that dashboard, be able to access that data through your dashboard. You can make that into a public embedding portal and embed these dashboards into that portal. Second use case for no code embedding is enterprise embedding, where within your enterprise you have intranet portals where every single user in your organization has access to those dashboards, those visuals. You can embed those into those portals, be it like a Salesforce, be it like a SharePoint portal, Salesforce, or a Google site. If you have any of those within your organization where your users are accessing those, you can embed those experiences into this. Let's look at a demo for each of these. So first, I'm going to go ahead and click on this public embedding. When we go into public embedding, you will see that because it is public, as the name suggests, the dashboard will automatically load. As you can see, this dashboard is now available without any authentication that is required, and be able to and how did I embed this, right? It was embedded with a single click of a button. I can show you that, and that's the reason it is no code embedding. So if I change this dashboard, let's say these links, logistics and sales links, are coming from QuickSight. In QuickSight, when you log in, you get a button on your dashboard page itself. When you go to the share dashboard, you will see a copy embed code button, which will generate a code iframe, something like this, which you can just copy from there and bring it to your application HTML and paste it, or bring it to your HTML and paste that, and you can just click apply, and it's going to change that complete dashboard for you, right? So it's as simple as that. You can like bring those iframe codes, copy them, paste them and change dashboard. It's going to just have that dashboard loaded. So it's like one click, you can get the code, put it in your HTML page, and the dashboard is embedded right there once the dashboard is made public within QuickSight. So that is public embedding, which is no code public embedding. Next, we will go and look at enterprise embedding. When I go into enterprise embedding, you will see that the behavior changes now. It is asking for a sign in because now this dashboard is not publicly available. It is asking for a sign in here, which I'm going to just go ahead and log into an account here real quick. And as soon as I log in, to that account, you notice that the dashboard loads successfully. So this is for authentication mechanism. Like you can embed it with your single sign-on. You can embed it technically. You can embed it on like with your third-party identity provider and still be able to like transition automatically once the session is available with your application. Once the user is logged into your application, which is SharePoint portal or any other portal, internet portal, that can be handed over to QuickSight, and this whole transition can be seamless without giving a user a login screen, right? So that is your enterprise embedding. As you saw, we saw an authentication flow completely. Um, and next we can go into code-based embedding. So code-based embedding, let me go back to home. Here, when we go to code-based embedding, there are multiple architectures to look at. And then if we look at the architectures for public embedding also, it is as simple as like if you go look at the architecture here, you have your users coming into your internet application. You request that iframe code from your application. You embed that code, you request that code from your application. As soon as you request, QuickSight, a connection to QuickSight has been made and a dashboard is returned back for the public internet. Only thing you will have to do is you have to enable that dashboard for public access in QuickSight. And second thing is, wherever you are integrating or embedding that dashboard into, that application has to be whitelisted in the allowed domains in QuickSight. Only then the application will be able to embed that dashboard, or else you will run into cross origin request errors within your application console. That is architecture for public embedding. You will see a similar architecture for your enterprise embedding, but additionally there is an authentication check that is going against QuickSight. When it is public embedding, there is no authentication that is going against QuickSight. Here in this case, there is additional check that goes against QuickSight. And finally, once the user is authenticated, then your application is loaded into intranet portal. Now, when we go into code-based embedding, there are various types. There is single tenant embedding and multi-tenant embedding. We'll just first start with single tenant embedding. Look at the architecture first. A user is logging into your application. Once they log into your application loads the pages or listing of reports or dashboards that are available. When the user clicks on that dashboard page, or even if you have one single dashboard, when the user loads that dashboard page or clicks on that dashboard page, that is when an API call can be made to your application server. And then from there, your application server uh, can then look at the token, application token as well, which can be then validated with IAM, and a role can be assumed from IAM to make that QuickSight call to fetch that embed URL. Once that embed URL is returned back to your application, your app server returns that to your application. Your application loads that dashboard in an iframe, and your users access that dashboard. So it's a single tenant in a single tenant application. The overall net architecture walks you through, okay, what is the flow of these. And then there are two types of architectures in this single tenant architecture as well. One is where you want to bring in users into QuickSight, and second is you do not want to bring in users into QuickSight. So this identity check is happening at application level and at QuickSight level in terms of when you are embedding that user based access. And there is another one which is like no user. Let's go back to demo so I can walk you through. There is no user and user based embedding. So when you say user based embedding, you are creating those users, registering those users in QuickSight. When there is no user embedding, you are not creating these users in QuickSight. You are only creating those users and are part of your application. In what cases, I get this question like, hey, in what cases should I be creating users in QuickSight, and in what cases I should not be? Like there is like uh, most of the times it is like additional maintenance which you want to avoid. If you want to avoid that additional maintenance and you do not want to bring those application users into QuickSight, in those cases you do not need user based embedding. Just like we saw enterprise embedding with one click. If you have enterprise applications, only your internal users are accessing QuickSight. In those cases, your users can be enabled into QuickSight through a single sign-on and be able to register into QuickSight through single sign-on. They have access to QuickSight. They can be brought into QuickSight. In those cases, you will just go with user-based embedding. But in cases where you have external identities as part of your application, and you do not want to register them or bring them into QuickSight and manage them in QuickSight, in those cases, you can just go with no user embedding. But overall, the idea is like once you give access to the user, here it should automatically load the dashboard because your application is the one that is handling request. So again, sign out from there. No user embedding. One last try before we save settings. I have to click on save settings every single time. So that was my mistake. I didn't do that. If you notice instantly, like when we hit the save settings, it comes back and loads the dashboard without. So in this case, what happens is when you are doing a user based, a no user embedding, your authentication dashboard access is handled at uh, your application level. Whereas in other case, when user based embedding is applied, save settings, and we'll say Okta save settings. Next. System, save. Now that dashboard is loading for user embedding, right? So what is happening is now, if you see the two different differences, right? One is on authenticating with no user, your application is handling authorization, whereas for registered user embedding or the user-based embedding, your QuickSight is handling authorization. So those are two cases. When we go look at the architecture here, we saw this architecture. So let's go back to multi-tenant architecture. So in multi-tenant architecture, what happens is you have QuickSight handles multi-tenancy for independent software vendors or within the enterprise applications through something called namespaces. So you create namespaces in QuickSight like customer one namespace, customer two namespace, and customer three namespace, and so on. And you have your default namespace. Once you have your data sets, etc., everything, they sit outside of your namespace. Your users only sit inside of namespace, and namespaces should be used only when you have a use case for self-service authoring by your customers. Why? Because once they start creating those dashboards and sharing those dashboards, they only see users from within the namespace. They do not see anything or anyone outside of that namespace. So that is when you will use namespace constructs to create multi-tenancy. And once they start creating those data sets, etc., everything is created outside at the account level, and everything within the customer namespace is handled through the permissions on that namespace or those assets. So which means like if a customer one is creating a dashboard or a data set and they go out to share, they can share it within the users, but the dashboard itself is sitting outside of namespace. Only users are grouped within the namespace, and when they go out to share, the permissions drive who has access to what, which means like as a dev team you can create like generic dashboards that can be shared across different namespaces, and you can still control through row level security configuration, you can still control who sees what data as part of those generic dashboards as well. So these dashboards, this link, we can share this link as part of chat. As soon as I'm done presenting, I'll share this link as part of chat, and you will be able to see these architectures from this application. This is a public site that is going to be available for you. Uh, if you here in this case we have two different variations, one with the same data set. If you, like I said, row level security configurations can be applied on the same data set, same dashboard can be accessed and be able to same data set can be accessed and be able to get get row level security at the namespace level applied. In second case, where you have different data sets for different namespaces and still be able to apply row level security permissions for within the namespace, you can do that as well and have different dashboards, different data sets. This is like various architectures that can be spawned based on this concept. But one thing to remember when we are talking about multi-tenancy is multi-tenancy is not grouping of assets or separate segregation of assets by namespace. It is segregation of users within these namespaces, and segregation of assets happen by just permissions in QuickSight in multi-tenancy. So that is one thing that we need to remember. And also second thing is, only when self-service authoring is involved, it is recommended to use namespaces. If you do not have a use case for self-service authoring, you can just achieve by this row level security permissions be applied at group level. Instead of creating different namespaces for customer, you will create groups by customer in QuickSight and be able to just handle it through namespaces. Why do I say that and emphasize that so much is because when you are creating namespaces, you have additional maintenance that you have to do as part of maintaining the account itself and maintaining these namespaces. That is the reason, if you do not have a use case for self-service authoring, then do not go with namespaces, just go with groups. So now when do I go with code-based embedding? There is like customizations piece that I'm going to talk through. The customization piece is through JavaScript SDK. When you are embedding through code based, you can integrate with our JS SDK, which is JavaScript SDK, that is available through our link. We will share the link also to the SDK, and you can find it from the developer corner there. So once you look at integrate with that, what you have is you have capability to be able to directly integrate these visuals or dashboards and have the theming match uh, your your application. Another thing you can do is, like, you can, like, I'm going to quickly show you, is you can dynamically pass parameters. So there are two types of filters here on the top. One is, this is dynamic filtering, which means this filter do not exist at the dashboard level. You can directly create that filter within your application and be able to still filter out the data of the dashboard. Second thing is parameters. These are like parameters created in QuickSight, and you're passing value to that parameter to be able to further filter it down, right? So first type is dynamic filtering, where no filter, no parameter exists in QuickSight. Through JavaScript SDK, you can apply that. And second thing is, when you create a parameter in QuickSight and have a filter that is driven through that parameter, that can be applied and pass parameters at runtime as well. Second thing is, you can change the theming of your dashboard. Right now, if you see, it has a light theme. As I have light theme, I'm going to go ahead and flip this to my dark mode, and dynamically the full dashboard will change into dark mode. So I have light theme here. Once I switch, the whole theme of the website changes to dark along with QuickSight. Supposed to change. Looks like something is going on here. Let me just check. Looks like something has changed here. We are continuously making improvements. So probably something our developer is working on deployment. That's why this is not working. Apologize for that. But then you should be able to change. Like, for example, now you can see that themes can be changed directly from within your application. I'm changing these themes based on a button here. I can change just the fonts. If you notice, I'm able to just change the font from Roboto to Comics to Noto Sans. So all these dynamic capabilities are available when you're using JavaScript SDK and code-based embedding, whereas you cannot do these directly from you cannot do this directly when you are doing no code embedding, because these changes are applied through our SDK. And here I can show you like all the experiences, our self-service experiences also here, uh, where you can see how a user can go ahead and directly embed or add visuals to an existing analysis and be able to create that visual at runtime, right? So for example, I'm doing that and right from within your application. You don't have to go outside of application to create those visuals. So this is where your self-service authoring comes into play. Then there is a Q&A experience that can be done, which is your you can ask directly questions off of our Q&A. Here you can see some of the trending questions, but then you can just say show me sales by date, and QuickSight interprets and gives you that option, and it gives you by date. Uh, so these are like Q&A experiences that you have, and then finally you can also embed your reports into your applications, which is another experience where you can have report snapshots where user is able to now look at that report embedded, which is like a multi-page report here. And you can see there are various snapshots that are available right now. In this case, I have only one snapshot. That's why you see only one snapshot. But if you had like multiple snapshots of the report, you will be able to see multiple snapshots, and user will be able to navigate between these snapshots to be able to then uh, compare and contrast data. So these are all various experiences that are possible with QuickSight. So today we saw various types of embedding and how and different applicability of that embedding. So uh, thank you for joining our session today.